Hello guys and welcome back to the Minecraft mod tutorial. In today's episode, I'm going to be starting another mini-series where I'm going to be showing you how to create your own biome, starting with tree generation and then creating the biome itself. In today's episode, we're going to create planks so that we can get tree generation going. So let's get started. We're going to have to go into our block init. You can ignore the microwave stuff for now. I'm filming these tutorials a bit out of order, as I saw there was a lot of requests for things like tree generation and biome generation. So I'm deciding, I filmed the microwave things already, the custom furnaces, but I'm deciding I'm going to release these first. So firstly, I'm going to have to create the blocks. Public static block, and then it's going to be I'm going to show you how to use variants, which means that all we need is just planks, leaves, and log. We're going to have to create these, so planks first is equal to a new custom block planks, and we just need the name, which is just going to be planks. Then we're going to create this class. Put it in .blocks. And I'm going to create a new package in there called .trees. This is obviously going to extend the normal block. Now we're going to have to use something called a property. We're going to be using property Enum, which allows us to use variants. So public static final property Enum. And then here we're going to put custom block planks .enum type. And then we want the name of our enum, which is going to be variant. And this is equal to property enum custom blocks. Custom block planks.enum type, the same thing as before. Make sure you put a dot between property enum and custom block planks enum type. Then no dot, just the word create. Then this will take in the ID, which is going to be variant. And then obviously the class again, custom block planks dot enum type dot class. For now, this is going to give us lots of errors, but we're going to create this enum in a second. So firstly, add the constructor, string name, and set unlocalized name and registry name. Then we're going to create the enum, public static enum type, implement I string serializable. What this basically does, it just gives us a few functions. If we hover over it, it gives us the get name function. And we're going to need a few more functions as well. So we're obviously going to need the get name. Firstly, we're going to need a few things. We're going to need private static final. We're going to once again need custom block planks dot enum type an array called meta underscore lookup, which is going to be equal to a new custom block planks dot enum type array of values dot length. Now then, what this is going to do? This is it gives an array of all the values inside of enum type, and it gets to how many of them there are. Then it will look through the metadata, which is data inside of one block, and find each individual variant. So we're going to have to create a variable for that, private static int meta. We're also going to need private string name and unlocalized name. This isn't private static int, it's private final int and private final string. Now we're going to need to create the actual constructor, enum type, it takes in int meta, so the metadata number, and string name. Then we're going to need a second constructor, which takes in int meta, string name, and string unlocalized name. In this second constructor, we are going to set our variables. This.meta is equal to meta. This.name is equal to name. And this.unlocalized name is equal to unlocalized name. And then in this constructor, we're going to put this meta name name. So we're setting the unlocalized name as the same as the normal name. Now, get name should just return this.name. We're going to need get meta, which is going to return this.meta. Make sure to have this on here. We're going to need get unlocalized name, which is obviously going to return this.unlocalized name. We're going to need toString, which just returns the name. And we need our own one called byMetadata, which is public static, once again, custom block planks dot enum type byMetadata int meta, and this is going to return meta lookup with meta in square brackets. So it's going to look up the meta that's asked for. We're going to need static open curly brackets, now a for loop. So it will repeat everything inside of this for loop as many times, as many values that there are. For custom block planks dot enum type. Then we give this a name, which is custom block planks $enum type. That's how we do variants. Colon values. So for the number of values, meta lookup custom block planks enum type dot get meta, and set that to itself. Now we've got all the functions needed. We can actually create our variants. So give it a name in all caps. I'm going to call this tutorial. Give it an ID 0. All IDs start at 0 and go down. And then a name tutorial in lowercase. I'm going to create another one, which I'm going to call aluminium. If you couldn't tell already, tutorial is meant to be based off of copper. 1 aluminium. Put a comma after tutorial and a semicolon after aluminium, or however many variants you want, which is however many different planks you want. Put a comma and then put a semicolon on the last one. There should be no more errors inside of this enum. We just need to super material.wood, and then we can push this enum type down a bit while we do other functions. I forgot to actually show this in videos for all my blocks and stuff, but set sound type is what gives you the correct sound. Sound type.wood will give you the wood placing and breaking sound. Sound type.glass, sound type.grass, whatever. And then this dot set default state, this dot block state dot get base state dot with property variant custom block planks dot enum type dot I'm going to put tutorial as the default, but you can put whatever you want. It can be any of them. Probably make the one that has ID 0 as your default. Now there's a few things. Damage dropped. This doesn't actually return the damage, but it returns that we use this to return the metadata. So return, open two brackets inside of each other, custom block planks.enum type, state dot get value variant, then outside of these brackets dot get meta. So we get the metadata. Next, get subblocks. So this will return all the variants. We're going to use this thing down here for custom blocks.enum type the for loop, but we have to put custom block planks .enum type .values, as we're not inside of the thing anymore. And for this, we're going to add items .add new item stack of this one custom block planks enum type .get meta. So for the number of variants, we will run this the number of times, and we will then add them to the list of blocks, which we items.add new item stack this one custom block planks enum type get meta. So we get the metadata and add them. Next, get state from meta. We return this dot get default state dot with property variant. I can't spell. Custom block planks dot enum type dot by metadata meta. So we get the block state off of the metadata. Now the opposite of that, get meta from state. We're going to return double brackets again, custom block planks dot enum type state dot get value variant dot get meta. I once again can't spell. This is an identical thing to damage dropped, but we do need both of them. Next, get pick block. This is the block that when you mine it will drop. So obviously we need to get the correct metadata. We're going to return a new item stack item.get item from block this one get meta from state world.get block state pos. So what do all these brackets mean? Basically, we get a new item stack of our block. There's obviously only one. And we get the meta from the state of the actual block that's placed in the world. And then we need to add all these states. We need to tell the game that our blocks have these states. So create block state is the function we're going to get for that. It's return a new block state container, which is going to be this, and then a new I property array, which is right angle brackets, then two curly brackets, and then we need to put in all our variants. So I'm just going to put variant, but for example, when we go into logs, there will be an axis variant, so you just put variant comma axis. But for now it's just variants. We add this to the game so it knows that we have these variants. That is that whole function done. Now we need to create a new package called .util, meaning utilities, and we're going to create a new interface. Interfaces are basically just lists of functions that some blocks will need to implement. So they always start with I, and then this one is going to be I meta name. It's going to have one function, public string get special name, and has item stack. Then all you have to do is put a semicolon at the end. So anything that implements this, which we are going to implement it inside of our custom block plant, implements I meta name. As you can see, we need to add a method if we move this up a bit, and that method is get special name. This is going to be, we're going to return custom block planks dot enum type dot values, then open square bracket stack dot get item damage, which if you remember, we are setting that the damage dropped is going to be the metadata dot get the name. So we get the name of the metadata block. Now we can finally save this. But not only do we need the block, we also need an item block. Thankfully, this item block can be used for anything. Put it in the blocks.item tab. I'm going to call it item block variants, and it's going to extend the item block. We're going to have to import item block, and then we're going to need the constructor, which is going to take in the block. Block. It's going to super off block. We're going to set has subtypes to true, as it has subtypes because it has variants. And it says set max damage to 0. Import block as well, Control-Shift-No, net.minecraft.block.block. We're going to get the unlocalized name, which is going to return super.unlocalized name. Super.getUnlocalized name plus underscore plus then 2 brackets open I meta name this dot block, and where we're going super block here, if we look inside of item block, it's setting this block variable to the block we're giving it. So this block variable is actually whatever we put in here inside of block in it. Dot get, we need to import imeta name. Dot get special name of stack, which we need to put inside of here. Item stack. Import item stack with Control-Shift-No, and put a semicolon on the end. So if you think about it, the unlocalized name will just be planks. So once we've added on the special name, it's going to be planks underscore and then the name of our variant. So it's going to be planks underscore copper, planks underscore aluminium, or planks underscore tutorial, whatever. Planks underscore whatever you've named your variants. And then get metadata, return damage. Now save that. We're going to need a third register block function, which is going to be register block with variants. It takes in the same parameters as our second register block function, but it does not use model loader here. Instead, we are going to create a new function once again. I know we just removed this a few episodes ago, well, quite a long time ago. Register renders, and we're going to use public static void register render block int meta and string file name. This is going to return model loader dot set custom model resource location item dot get item from block meta and a new model resource location, which is inside is going to have a new resource location reference.modid, comma file name, and then after that, comma inventory. So we are registering a render with metadata here, and we are also registering its render. Now for registering the block, we have to register block with an item block. It's going to be planks new item block variant, which is going to have planks in it as well. Now in the register renders, we are going to need a for loop to register all the variants. For int I is equal to 0, I is less than custom block planks dot enum type dot values dot length I++. So for the amount of values there are, the length of the values, which is that amount of values, we are going to run this function. Register render planks I, and then the file name is going to be planks underscore plus custom block planks dot enum type dot values open right angle brackets I dot get name. So we get the name of the value. So planks underscore tutorial for the first one, planks underscore aluminium for the second one, planks underscore whatever you want. And the final thing we need to do is add block init dot register renders. Now we're going to have to create once again the block state, which will be pretty easy. Copy tutorial block and change it to planks. Actually, just call it planks.json. So firstly, and then where normal is, we're going to put variant is equal to tutorial, all in lowercase. We're going to have model tm planks tutorial and put a comma after that. Variant is equal to aluminium colon open bracket model is tm planks underscore aluminium. So we set the correct variant for we set the correct model for each variant. Now in lang we are going to add tile dot planks tutorial dot name is equal to tutorial planks. Tile dot planks aluminium dot name is equal to aluminium plank. Now for the models of each one, since a plank is just a normal 6-sided block, we can just call it planks tutorial and just change this to planks tutorial and copy and paste it, call it planks aluminium and call it planks aluminium. Now for the items, once it's exactly the same, copy and paste tutorial block again, call it planks tutorial and planks tutorial, copy and paste that, call it planks aluminium and planks aluminium. Now for the textures, I'm just going to drag some textures in from my other mod where I've been testing these out. Harry's mod, source, main, resources, assets, textures. I'll get my planks aluminium. I'll bring all my textures over. I'm going to have to change the name of planks copper to planks tutorial, and I'll change all the other ones off camera. Now we can boot the game. If we have a look in our creative tab, we find that we have tutorial planks and aluminium planks. Each of them have their own block, and each of them have different textures. They have the same ID but different textures. We could add as many of these as we wanted. So if you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button down below and subscribe for more. In the next episode, we'll be creating the custom log and also the custom leaves. Because now we've got this enum set up, it's actually really easy to create the log and leaves, as we can just refer to the previous enum. Thanks for watching, my name's been Harry, and goodbye.